So I'm going to give you my most powerful trading strategy. This is the best trading strategy that I'm using within the market that has led to my success. I had many people within Trader Society use this strategy and their lives have changed. With that being said, what if I told you I can get you in at the exact bottom of a stock, right before it bottoms out, right before it reverses, right before it has a massive spike? What if I told you I had a strategy that's going to get you in where you can create the trend, you can set the new trend that's about to occur? What if I told you that I ended up buying call options on SPY and this was strategically planned out a day in advance at the exact low today at 10 a.m. when it filled the gap and began to have a reversal? That was all streamed live within Trader Society. If you want to see the recap and the live trading footage, that's going to be the third link down below in the playlist. If you really want to master this trading strategy, that's going to be the second link in the playlist where you can watch the gap trading strategy. I'm going to teach it to you step by step. This is the most powerful trading strategy, and this will change your life if you listen and you apply the lessons that I'm teaching to you. You can use this strategy on stocks, shares, and options. With that being said, let's get straight into it. So here's what I have to say about the SPY in the pre-market. The SPY has gapped up. Will, what does it mean when a stock gaps up? Well, if a stock opens up higher than it previously closed, as you can see, this white line represents the previous closing price, which is at $400.59. The SPY ended up opening higher than it previously closed. That means that it gapped up. So I'm going to show you what you can do when a stock gaps up so you can buy it at the exact low before it reverses. Here's what I had to say. SPY has gapped up. It is very likely to favor the bulls today to really start to spike to fill the gap from 405.68. Why did I say that? Why did I say that it's bullish? Why did I say that it's very likely to spike back up to fill the gap at 405.68 in the pre-market? The reason why I said that was it wasn't too long ago where SPY had a gap up on January 26th at the same key level, this $400 support level, and once it came crashing back down to fill the gap in the morning, it began to have a reversal when the gap filled, when the gap closed. So the key to the strategy is we're waiting for a stock to have a nice gap up. Once it comes back down to fill the gap that's waiting to fill below, we wait for bullish confirmations, we wait for a floor to develop, and we start buying calls into the dip. If it begins to have a reversal, the new trend is going to be set. And our number one rule is to never bet against a stock that is having a gap close reversal, which means when the gap fills, it's going to start to reverse. And if it has a reversal, never bet against the reversal, which is why I clearly said, do not buy puts at support. And the max pain would be $399 for calls. If the strategy goes against us, we get stopped out very, very quickly. It's a very high risk to reward ratio strategy. And if we're wrong, we just get out very, very quickly. And then I told people, if you want to buy puts, 405.68 is where you're going to want to buy puts because there's a gap that's waiting to fill above at 405.68. So what we're doing is we're looking at the history and we're saying, okay, SPY had a nice gap up. It came crashing back down to fill the gap. It's consolidating. It's forming bullish candlesticks. It's forming floor. It's forming a support. When most indicators are bearish and will tell you not when to buy, that's when we're buying. And we're setting the new trend. When the trend looks bearish, it flips bullish and we bank buying at the exact low. And then we ride this back up. Now, what made it even better this time is it wasn't too long ago where the SPY gapped up, it filled the gap, and it had a reversal. And as you can see, what makes the strategy even better this time, it's already confirmed support. It's already confirmed bullish because it already happened. It has big upside potential with very little downside potential at this level. And as you can see, what makes the trading strategy better is if there's a gap that's waiting to fill above. The SPY had a gap down on this day, which means it opened up lower than it previously closed. So if the SPY can bottom at this gap and start to have a reversal, not only is it going to have a reversal to start to rocket back up, but it's going to start to fill the gap that's waiting to fill above at 405.68. So what you're seeing is we are trading the chart, we are trading the history, and we're confirming that, okay, that gap is now filled, so it's going to start to have a reversal, and it's going to start to rocket back up and serve a purpose to fill this gap at 405.68. That's what we're doing. We're buying the call options at the exact lows where the bear trap was created. And we are not betting against the trading strategy, which is why I said to avoid puts. Here's what I also had to say about the SPY. Today should be a super simple day, starting off with call options on big dips to ride the SPY to fill the gap. $400 and 59 cents is going to be the best price to do that. And I said, focus on big dips from there at previous resistance levels to rebuy the dip. What do I mean by that? Well, if you wanted to chase the strategy a little bit and continue to play for the gap to fill, basically what I'm saying is we scalp. We get into the best setup to the best price. This is the best price possible at the previous closing price, $400.59. That's where we get in. Now, if you want to continue to buy higher or like scale in, you scale out on rips and then you can get back in. If you want to do that, this is what you end up doing. And I did end up doing this. So this is a good setup, but it's not the best price. But this is what I did end up doing. As you could see, SPY had resistance at $400.90. There was resistance right here. It was crashing at this level. We know the overall trend is bullish. It's having a gap close reversal, and it's really starting to push back up to fill this gap. That's why we're call focused. So Will, what do you do if you want to buy at a higher price to continue to profit off the trend? Wait for it to have a massive breakout above resistance. So right here, it had a nice break above this $403.90. Once it has a nice break above this resistance, you wait for it to pull back. This was a very nice pullback. It went from 404.80 all the way back down to 403.60. With that being said, we ended up buying calls when a floor was forming at that previous resistance level. Once we identified that support and consolidation was forming at this previous resistance level after it had a massive breakout and came pulling back down, this is confirmation that we have a floor at previous resistance, which is where the next bear trap is going to get created to ride the SPY for the gap to fill above. I bought $404 calls right here when SPY was at $403.90, alerted real time my team. Those calls went from 40 cents to over $2.20. Absolutely insane. I made a quick 20% profit return because I'm a scalper. So that's how you can kind of profit off it if you want to continue to trade the trend. But that's what we're doing in a sense, man. So you tell me and look at this chart. If SPY gaps up and it fills the gap and has a reversal and it's got big upside potential, and this time it does the same thing at the same price, except there's a gap to fill at 405.87. Wouldn't it make sense to be bullish and to be call focused for another bear trap on the dip on the support level for history to repeat itself? Because the strategy is serving a purpose where history repeats itself and has a reversal at the gap. And also there's a gap to fill above at 405.87. We all prepared for this strategically in advance. I clearly said in my video yesterday, if the SPY gaps up, I'm going to be focused on buying calls at the previous closing price. So in a sense, that's the strategy. And if you take a look at the short-term trend on the SPY, look at what happens every single time it's been gapping up recently. Let me show you what the SPY has been doing. And I bought calls. I bought calls right here on this day too. I made a 15% return very, very quickly on those calls right here. Did the same exact thing today for a 30% return, all streamed live. Let me show you what the SPY has been doing recently whenever it gaps up. I'll show you what it is that I'm talking about. Right here, the SPY gaps up, it hits the white line, it begins to have its reversal. You see that? It works again. Let's continue to show you how this is working. And we're hitting these every single time at the lows. Right here, SPY gaps up. This was a gap up. It fills the gap. It begins to have a reversal. Calls printed on dips all day. Right here, SPY gapped up. It filled the gap. It begins to have a reversal. It's forming a floor at the gap. Calls printed all day. It's consistently working. Now, the strategy is more advanced than this, but basically in terms of how the chart looks, this was an absolutely no-brainer for calls because you have to think, if SPY recently gapped up at $400 and it filled the gap and it had a reversal and it spiked all the way to $408, it's proven support, it's proven to have a gap close reversal, and it has had a strong history to fill the gaps when it gaps up or gaps down and then has a reversal in the past 30 days. I have not had one single loss with the trading plans, with the key levels that I share within Trader Society this year. Every single key level has worked with the gap trading strategy, and it's been 100% win rate. With that being said, wouldn't it even be a better opportunity to buy calls this time? Why would it be a better opportunity? Because history says it's already confirmed bullish. It already bottomed at support. It already had a massive breakout at 408, and this is why it would be even better this time, because there's a gap that's waiting to fill above. What they're going to try to do is they're going to try to trap the bears and create a short squeeze. Once SPY fills this gap that's waiting to fill below, they're going to try to reverse it, set the new trend, squeeze it back up to fill the gap at 405.68, and that's when the bull trap is going to get created, and that's where all the chasers are going to get wrecked buying calls and attempts, right? That's what we're doing, man. So I want you to focus on trading the channels of the gaps. I want you to wait for a channel to develop like this. I want you to wait for the stock to gap down. Once it has this gap up right here, pushes back down to fill this gap right here. History's already confirmed that it's bullish. buy the calls, buy the dip, ride it back up for the gap to fill, right? Scale out on the rips. And if you do want to get back in, so the disadvantage with getting back in is, yes, you are trading the trend, but you are buying at a much higher price. If you do want to do that, what you need to do is you need to wait for the stock to break out. You need to wait for it to break out. Don't buy the breakout. Once it pulls back and retest that breakout, so this is the resistance, wait for it to have a nice breakout, wait for it to have a nice drop. When that previous resistance right here reacts as a floor, reacts as a support level, that's when you buy the calls again. So that's the game, and that's how you can rinse and repeat this strategy in a sense. So it's called a gap close reversal strategy, which means when SPY fills the gap, so right here, SPY filled the gap, the stock had a reversal. So it gapped up, it came crashing back down to fill the gap, it had a reversal, and it started spiking all day. Right here, it had a gap up, it came crashing back down to fill the gap, it had a reversal, it started spiking all day, right? When SPY does that, it's a gap close reversal. Now, what makes the strategy better is if you add the second part on. As it's reversing and setting the new trend, having that gap close reversal strategy, what makes the strategy a lot better is if there's a gap to fill within the side of the reversal. And this is where I will never bet against a gap close reversal. If there's a gap to fill above right here, and history is showing that this can really squeeze back up and rocket back up to that previous resistance level, then it's going to try to fill the gap. It's having a reversal. It's serving a purpose. Don't you see? It's filling the gaps, and when it fills the gaps, it has a reversal. And when it has a reversal, it starts to go back to fill the next gap right here. Don't you see that? That is why the number one rule I have is when a stock has a gap close reversal, when it fills the gap and starts to have a reversal, excuse me, I will never bet against it, right? That's why I didn't do puts once today. I did not trade puts once today. The reason why I didn't buy puts at 405.68 is because it happened way too late in the day and there was no bearish confirmation. That's why I didn't do that. There were people who decided to swing trade puts before the market closes. But with that being said, there was no bearish confirmation for me to do so. They are more likely to win, in my opinion, because we are overbought and we are overextended. And this was at 398 in the pre-market. So all the power to them. But for me to swing trade, I need very strong bearish confirmations. I also don't want to hold through news. I don't want to gamble in a sense and hold through news. I just wait for the news to come out. And then I take advantage of the people who ended up becoming bag holders because they were on the wrong side of that news coming out. And I wait for it to spike back up to that initial entry, right? So those are some of the basics. That's how you trade the best setups at the best prices. If you do want to be a part of Trader Society, our team, our network is dedicated to doing this every single day. What we're doing is we're trading the charts. If you want to figure out how it is that I'm so accurate in these videos, it's because I'm trading the charts. I'm not using an indicator. It was hilarious. Somebody said within the chat, the MACD was bearish. They said the MACD is bearish here. Don't buy calls. You'd have to be an absolute idiot to buy calls. That's what they told me when it was at $403.80, the exact low, and calls spiked 400%. That's what the MACD bearish confirmation told me, right? So I don't use indicators. I don't use anything like that. If you want to know what it is that I'm doing, if you want to trade like me, it's all within the chart. I'm trading the chart. I'm mastering the chart. I'm identifying patterns. I'm identifying trends. I'm identifying confirmations where history is going to repeat itself. Well, what do you mean history is going to repeat itself? Well, SPY gapped up from $400. It filled the gap. It had a reversal, and it spiked all the way to $408 in 2 days. So history repeated itself. SPY gapped up, it filled the gap from $400, it had a reversal, and it's even better this time because it's already proven to be support. It's already proven to have big upside potential. It's an overreaction to the downside, and the reason why it's even better is because there's a gap to fill above at 405.68. That's why it's even better. The strategy is serving a purpose. It's having a reversal to fill the gap. That's what you need to understand. It's having a reversal right here to start to fill this gap, to create that bear trap, and then this is where they're going to try to create the bull trap, right? So with that being said, that's some of the basics. That's how we're buying stocks at the exact low. We're also doing this on the short side where we're shorting at the exact top. I would really encourage you to get yourself familiar with this trading strategy. I'm telling you, if you use this trading strategy and you use and apply these lessons properly, it's a lot more advanced than this. These are just some of the basics. But I want you to start identifying trends, identifying ways to profit off of history with gap close reversals with the gap fill strategies. Watch that second link in the playlist. It's going to help you get started with the strategy. When you are ready, now's the best time to join. If you want to be a part of Trader Society, where you get access to my trading plans, my key levels every single day during market hours, whether it's pre-market, whether it's during market hours, whether it's after hours. I will give you the best setups at the best prices. This is where I will prepare you to trade the best setups at the best prices. And the live trading streams, that's where you get to watch me trade live. If you want to see what the live trading is like, watch my previous video. It shows the live trading footage today. There's also live on the Discord voice channel. There's no stream delays, right? So you can listen in live on voice, and you can also watch the live trading stream to see my screen, right? You get access to the SPY floor. The SPY floor is the money-making floor. This is where people alert their best trades. You get access to my real-time trade alerts. There's so much more to it. If you want to be a part of this and get access to the video lesson library that shares with you exactly how to master this gap trading system, where you can master the charts, you can master psychology, risk management, discipline, where you just trade the best setups at the best prices, where you're not getting stuck buying puts on these very bullish days. I made it very, very clear, and I did not buy puts once today because 405.68 was the best price to buy puts, and I'm not going to bet against history with bullish confirmation, right? So if you want to learn how to do this, man, it's that first link in the description. You will change your life. You will learn how to trade the best setups at the best prices. You will learn the unique gap trading system. You will get access to the video lesson library. You will get access to the live trading streams that I do every single day at the market open. You will get access to the networking opportunities within the Discord, along with all of the valuable information in the Discord. That is what we are doing, man. We are trading the best setups at best prices. Now is the best time to join, right? It's going to be that first link down below in the description. As soon as you join, you get instant lifetime access. The amount of members who have already made back multiple costs of what I charge for this educational program and networking opportunity is insane, man. They join the program, literally some of them the first day, make back 4 times the cost of the program. I have over 10 people in chat who sent me a direct message saying they made $2,000 to $5,000. One guy made $10,000. The returns on the strategy is absolutely insane. I alerted calls at the exact low. And then my only second entry for calls was right into the close. Right here, I bought calls. They went up 400%. Absolutely insane what you can do. The 404 out of money call went from 40 cents all the way to $2.20. It's ridiculous what you can do with this gap trading strategy if you listen and do not bet against it, right? So if you do want to join Trader Society, the first link down below in the description. If you want to know my thoughts in terms of what I think tomorrow, it's going to be more explained after the news comes out. I don't hold through news. I don't gamble. I don't rely on my trades and based off of what something says or what something happens. I don't do that. I wait for the news to come out. And then when someone gets destroyed, I wait for the stock to go back to their bag holder entry and I take advantage of that, right? This is all explained in terms of our trading tips and the tenets to trading, man. This is the golden rule. Remember this rule. This is a rule that for anyone who bought puts today got absolutely wrecked. Remember this rule. When a stock closes the gap and begins to reverse, do not bet against the reversal. Meaning if SPY gaps up, it fills the gap and it starts to bottom out, starts to reverse like it did today, like it did on January 26th where we bought calls multiple times. Do not buy puts. Do not bet against the trend. Do not bet against that it's having a reversal and it's starting to push back up to wait to fill the gap. If you want puts, if you want a short, get the best entry at 405.68. Who made money today? It wasn't the people trying to short the rips. It was the people buying the dips. That's where the big smart money was made today. Not these little bottom ticks where I'm going to try to catch the top and have a small little 20, 30 cent pullback. Yeah, you can make money doing that, but against the trend. But who's making the big money? The people buying the calls on the dip. The people who are buying at previous resistance when it looks bearish. But what you guys need to understand is the trend's bullish. There's a gap to fill above. If a SPY breaks, if it breaks above resistance and pulls back to previous resistance and it's forming a floor at that previous resistance level, guess what? Not only is it going to shoot back up to resistance, but it's going to try to break out and continue to squeeze the bears and continue to fill the gap. This is how you have to think. This all must be done strategically advanced before the market is open. You must have a plan, and we trade the plan. That's what we do. We're disciplined. I didn't do puts once today. We are consistently crushing it using this trading strategy both ways, right? Somebody asked me right here, Will, what do you think about the FOMC reaction? What do you think about Paul? What do you think about all these things? I told him you have to wait. I do not hold through news. I profit off of people who lost holding through the news. When it goes back to the entry that made them trapped, that made them a bag holder, that's when I look to get in. So basically, I'll give you an example. If SPY was trading in between 405, 406, and then some sort of news comes out, whether it's FOMC or whatever it may be, if it crashes massively, I wait for it to spike back up to the previous support at 405, because that's where all the people bag holding who were wrong about the news, who bought calls, are in. So that's where they're going to sell their bags. And that's where puts are going to print at the previous support. I wait for people to get trapped. I step in strategically like a sniper. That's why I don't hold through news. I wait for these people to get absolutely destroyed, and then I identify where was their entry that got them at the worst price possible. And then when it goes back to that price, that's where I short the stock if it were to crash. And then I do the inverse with calls, man. Very, very simple. If you want to trade the best setups, the best prices, if you want to master this trading system, if you want to trade the charts and put yourself in the most competent position to succeed in 2023, this is the best program for you. There's nothing like this out there. You will not find a better trading strategy than this. I'm waiting, man. I'm waiting. The strategy is based off of charts. It's based off of history. I'm waiting for someone to make a video saying, I found a better trading strategy than this. It doesn't exist. The reason why I could say that is I've been analyzing charts and trading charts for over a decade, and there is truly nothing better than this. It gets you in at the exact bottom, and it sets the new trend for a massive reversal. There's no other strategy that can do that for you. This is the best one. Gap close reversal to start to fill the gap that's waiting to fill above. When this gap fills, reacts as a resistance, then I short and play the puts. So Will, what do you think about SPY tomorrow? I'm going to give my newly updated thoughts within the pre-market, within Trader Society, and of course during market hours when we see new confirmations. In terms of what I think about the SPY right now, like I said, I don't trade through news or anything like that. What I'll be looking for personally is, what you need to understand is if 405.68 to 406.48 reacts bearish, reacts as a resistance, it's going to be puts if that zone reacts bearish with a max risk of 407. If SPY breaks above 407 and that turns into support, it is super bullish, no reason for puts. If 406.48 to 405.68, that $1 zone reacts as a bearish resistance, then you're going to want to play puts and scalp it back down to about $403. That's what I would say about the SPY, right? If this were to have some sort of massive crash, then the best price to be buying calls, levels that I would keep an eye on, would be this like 397.50 to 394.50. We have to see how big of a move it's going to have with FOMC. Another strategy that I have with FOMC, those are the best trading days that I have in the market, the most volatile ones, I'll wait. So for example, if SPY were sitting at like 405 or 406 and it had a massive crash heading into the news, heading into the speech, right? I would wait for it to spike back up to the support of the channel. So if it was trading at 405 to 406, supports at 405, resistance is at 406, if that's what it was doing, say it's a small channel, I would wait for it to have a massive crash, and then when it spikes back up to the previous support at 405, I would play the puts, because that's where the bulls got trapped. That's where the bag holders got created who flipped the coin before the news. And that's where I step in and take advantage and profit off of their misfortune and bag holdings. You must wait to trade the best setups at the best prices. You must wait for the charts to develop, right? Did I know that SPY was going to gap up today? No, I didn't know if it was going to gap up or gap down. I didn't enter any swing trade. I didn't do any gambles. But what I did know is if the SPY gaps up based off of history, it's going to come back down to fill the gap, which is my entry for the gap close reversal, for the bullish reversal, for the calls. And then it's going to start to push back up to fill the gap at 405.68. So if it gaps up, it's going to try to have a bullish reversal at the gap, and it's going to start to rocket back up to fill the gap at 405.68. That's what I did know beforehand, and I took advantage of that information. And for those of you who are wondering, SPY actually has not filled the gap. You're going to see it happen all the time where it partially fills the gap and have a reversal. So you're probably wondering, well, Will, why did you decide to buy the calls right here at 10 a.m., right before it filled the gap, right before it hit the best price? The reason why is in the pre-market, it already hit the gap and it reacted bullish and it started breaking out, and it was already forming a very solid floor, a very solid support level at 401. I was watching this several times as a scalper, and I was sitting, man, I just missed out on so many opportunities to buy calls on dips. I'm not going to nickel and dime this. I'm just going to get in when it looks bearish towards the gap. And that's exactly what I did. And you will find when it looks the most bearish, that's when the bullish trend reversal occurs. When it looks bearish and the bears get greedy and they hold and they don't take profits and the bulls are fearful. That's where I step in and take advantage of the best entry possible. Name of the game is the entry. So with that being said, man, that's why I decided to play it as a partial gap close reversal. reversal. Another reason why I decided to buy right before the gap filled is because yesterday it had a partial gap close reversal where it almost filled this gap right here, and that was at 10 a.m. For those of you who don't know, when stocks are approaching gaps, they like to have reversals at around 9:50 to 10 a.m. during that key time. So I looked at the trend yesterday and I said, okay, SPY's filling the gap right here. It had a partial reversal and it sold off the entire day. Well, the exact same thing is happening just for calls. SPY's going bullish, it's filling the gap, it's already forming support, and it has a reversal for the entire day. You see how that works? So that's the game, man. If you want to be a part of Trader Society, it's going to be that first link down below in the description. I'm telling you, man, we are going to crush it. There is nothing like this group, man. What we have is truly special, and this is a life-changing strategy that's getting you in at the best prices. And I'm giving you the opportunity to master it and to surround yourself with a network who is dedicated to mastering this gap trading system. If you want to master this one simple gap trading strategy, it's going to be the first link down below in the description to join Trader Society. I would also encourage you to watch the playlist, which is going to be the second link down below.